curious minds in your community to learn even more. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
The investigation is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. This is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. Hillary has nobody to blame but herself for her mounting legal troubles. Hillary is likely to be under investigation for many years, probably concluding in a criminal trial. If she were to win, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis.
That was candidate Donald Trump in the final stages of the 2016 campaign. Now, under his administration, the presidency may actually be facing its most troubling moment since Watergate. You can see our NBC News analysis there. Just like John Dean, former White House counsel under Nixon, Michael Cohen is promising the goods on President Trump. That is, unless the president decides to pardon him, but that is something Cohen's attorney tells NBC News he would flat out reject.
Not only is he not hoping for, he would not accept a pardon. He considers a pardon from somebody who has acted so corruptly as president to be something he would never accept.
Listen, here's the thing. We have no idea if a pardon for Michael Cohen is or will be under consideration by President Trump. And to be honest, it seems pretty unlikely based on what we have heard from the president today. But based on what Lanny Davis is saying, how might the president's legal team be reacting? Joining me now is Alan Dershowitz, Harvard Law School professor emeritus and the author of The Case Against Impeaching Trump. Alan, thank you for being back on the show. And to be clear, you are not a member of the president's legal team. You are somebody, though, who has spoken quite freely about your opinions regarding the president's legal strategy.
Not only am I not a member of his legal team, I was very active in opposing the locker-up Hillary and opposing all the nonsense Trump was espousing during the campaign about all of Hillary's crimes. My interest is in not expanding the criminal law and weaponizing it against either Democrats or Republicans.
I want to ask you about that, but before we get there, let me ask you this, because Lanny Davis, you just heard him say Michael Cohen would never accept a pardon, right? The Supreme Court has ruled that individuals can do that. That is allowed. If you were a member of the president's legal team, or if you were advising the president, what's your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, Lanny David has to go back and check a Supreme Court decision written by Oliver Wendell Holmes many years ago that says that you don't have to accept a pardon. The president has the absolute power to grant a pardon, and nobody has the right to reject the pardon. But it's a hypothetical because nobody is giving a pardon to Cohen. Cohen is the enemy. Cohen is being attacked as being non-credible. It's Manafort who might get a pardon because the president said he's a good guy. He worked for other Republicans. He felt sorry for him. That pardon would be much like the pardon given by President George Bush I to Caspar Weinberger and the 5 people who are facing charges. It would be a political sin, but probably not an impeachable offense.
Well, can I ask you about a couple of things, Alan? I want you to clarify things that you've said since this news broke that I think are worth getting you on. You said last night, quote, all Cohen has to do is say the president directed me to do it. That's the kind of embellishment people put on a story when they want to avoid dying in prison. Are you suggesting Cohen lied under oath?
Well, we don't know. All we know is
Seems like
what
that's
Judge
what you're
Ellis
suggesting.
said. No. What Judge Ellis said is when you put pressure on somebody like Cohen, there is an incentive to embellish the story and make it better because he's now facing 4 years. If he comes up with strong evidence against the president, that will be reduced to 2 years or 3 or 1 year. So there is the risk. That's what Judge Ellis said, a risk of perjury. I have no idea whether Cohen is telling the truth or not. But the interesting thing is, if Cohen is telling the truth, it's a catch-22 for the prosecution. Let me lay this out for 60 seconds. Here's the issue. The president is entitled to pay hush money to anyone he wants during a campaign. There are no restrictions on what a candidate can contribute to his own campaign. So if, in fact, the president directed Cohen to do it as his lawyer and was going to compensate him for it, the president committed no crime. If Cohen did it on his own, then Cohen committed the crime.
But clearly,
the law is convoluted.
prosecutors have said Michael Cohen broke the law, and Michael Cohen says the president told me to do it. You said last night as well that you believe that every president breaks the law during an election. I mean, really? Does that make it okay?
What I said.
Your
First
quote
of all, I
is that
said,
every candidate violates election laws when they run for president.
Let me tell you what I said. Candidates violate election laws all the time. Go back and you can get back to
but does
any
that
campaign.
Make it
you'll
okay?
find violations. It doesn't. But let me be very clear.
And isn't
because
that
you're not
moving
letting
the
me make my
goalposts?
point. You're
Go
not
ahead, make your point.
letting me make my point. My
All
point
yours.
is the president doesn't break the law if, as a candidate, he contributes to his own campaign. So if he gave $1 million to two women as hush money, there would be no crime. If he directed his lawyer to do it and he would compensate.
This was not an hour people thought was going to be competing for their time. Our favorite time of the day is that moment when we go on the air. As we come on the air tonight, we have breaking news.
Dear great-great-grandfather, you turned a family recipe into a brewing empire before Prohibition took it all away. I promised our family I'd find your lost recipe. By tracing our history on Ancestry, I found the one person who still had it. Now, I'm brewing our legacy back to life. I'm David Thiem, and this is my Ancestry story.
Now, with 100 million family trees, find your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
I finally figured out what car to get. Now, where to find the best deal?
Why don't I help?
What's that?
Car Gurus. Color?
Silver. Kangaroos?
Low miles, 2 grand under market value, 5-star dealer rating. You. I'm beat.
Let's do it your way, then.
Heard that.
Go to Car Gurus today to find great deals from top-rated dealers near you.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Definitely would like to meet someone special.
Looking for a real relationship?
So I definitely would like to find a long-term relationship. Somebody who is smart, who has an excellent sense of humor. Can't wait to meet you. Bye.
Check out Match right now for free.
Introducing the brand new South Beach Diet. I'm Jesse James Decker, and if y'all want to know how I stay in shape, I do it with the South Beach Diet.
Lose weight fast, burn fat, get leaner, and have more energy. Order your 28-day plan today with fully prepared meals delivered to your door. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, even snacks.
I lost 38 pounds.
It's healthy weight loss, easy to follow, and it works.
I lost 30 pounds on the South Beach Diet.
South Beach is a low-carb, low-sugar, high-protein program that burns fat and transforms your metabolism. I lost 24 pounds. Order your 28-day plan right now and receive a week of our all-new South Beach Complete Shakes free. They're packed with 20 grams of protein, no added sugar, a great source of probiotics, vitamins, and they taste great. Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in free FedEx shipping. Lose weight fast, burn fat, get leaner, and have more energy.
Trust me, the South Beach Diet works. Call or click right now.
Call 877-807-PALM or go to southbeachdiet.com and get 1 week of shakes free.
Oh, hey, Mom. Now that we have your attention, Capri Sun has 4 updated drinks. Now with only the good stuff. Do you know how to use those?
Nope.
Get those kids some Capri Sun.
A crooked businessman looking for help. A congressman looking for donations. Jim Renacci used his office to try and get a lawsuit dropped against Ben Suarez. Days later, Suarez sent Renacci $100,000. Renacci claimed they didn't have a close relationship, but court records now show the two exchanged more than 40 calls surrounding the donations. Jim Renacci, he's always looked out for himself.
I'm Sherrod Brown, and I approve this message.
Instead of going to school every morning, what if school could come to you? Because learning happens anywhere and everywhere. K-12 powered schools provide a tuition-free, full-time, online public school education taught by state-certified teachers.
It's public school at home.
K-12's curriculum is designed to engage students, to challenge them. So visit K12.com today. Tuition-free in Ohio.
We are back now with a look at this morning's headlines. The man who confessed to killing University of Iowa student Molly Tibbetts is going to be in court today. We're talking about an undocumented immigrant, Christian Bahena Rivera. He's facing first-degree murder charges after police spotted his car on security cameras near where Tibbetts was last seen jogging back on July 18th. Rivera later led police to Tibbetts' body. This morning on the Today Show, Special Agent Rick Ron talked about exactly how this all went down.
He it certainly wasn't known to the local police department there with the sheriff's department. And so we, through our interviews and conducting a number of different canvas interviews throughout the community, we weren't aware of him until we were able to locate the vehicle. And so it's not like he was on anybody's radar throughout the investigation.
Police have still not released any information about a motive, but this is a story we are following closely. We'll bring you updates throughout the day. Overnight, have you heard about this? Facebook removed 652 pages, groups, and accounts from Russia and Iran. Facebook saying the separate campaigns have one goal: to mislead users here in the U.S. and around the world. Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook CEO, is telling reporters the company is committed to strengthening its security operations. And new details now on the allegations against Me Too activist Asia Argento after a photo of Argento and Jimmy Bennett, reportedly taken back in 2013, was posted on TMZ. That's the picture there. According to TMZ, the photo shows Argento and Bennett, who would have been 17 at the time, laying in bed. MSNBC has not been able to verify TMZ's reporting. The photo comes just 2 days after the New York Times reported that Argento arranged to pay Bennett nearly $400,000 in hush money in response to Bennett's claim of sexual assault against her. NBC News has not independently verified that report. In a statement to New York Magazine, Argento says, quote, "I am deeply shocked and hurt by having read news that is absolutely false. I have never had any sexual relationship with Bennett." The New York Times says it is confident in the accuracy of its reportings. NBC News has reached out to Bennett for comment, but he has yet to respond. Now, back to the world of politics and some new video showing Michael Cohen getting on then-candidate Donald Trump's campaign plane back in September of 2016. Here it is.
You were on my video, just so you know. Now I gotta stalk you.
That's going down a little more than a month before Cohen wired that hush money payment, $130,000 to Stormy Daniels' attorney at the time. The person who's behind the camera in that video, Omarosa Manigault Newman, who gave that video to MSNBC. Chris Matthews on Hardball. She is now joining me here on set in Washington. Omarosa, thank you for being on. So let me start with some comments that you made on this network.
Let me give some background on that video.
Sure.
You know, we always had a really good time on the campaign. You see Michael Cohen was much more involved in the campaign than the Trump legal team would allude to. He's there. He helped to organize that particular event in Cleveland at the church that Darrell Scott leads. And the reason that video is important because immediately they're going to attack him and say that he had nothing to do with the campaign. But as you can see, a month before those payments were made, Michael Cohen was not just on the plane. If you let the video run a little longer, you'll see Donald Trump in the background. He goes up and they start to chat.
That said, this video is still fairly innocuous. You've talked about having recordings of other things. Are there bombshells? Do you have videos that are bombshells?
I have. And, you know, unfortunately...
When are you going to let those come out?
Well, wouldn't you like me to let them out this morning?
Sure would.
Throw that beautiful bean footage. No. I want to tell you that, unfortunately, Donald Trump and his legal team, this bully, has unleashed his entire legal team on me, not only me, but my publisher, trying to silence me from talking about things, particularly that happened on the campaign. And so some of those things will have to wait until our arbitration is done. But certainly I don't have a problem releasing the things and sharing the things. But more importantly,
and that is from the campaign,
the corruption that I witnessed.
You did say, though, you talked a little bit about what you had seen and heard during the campaign, during your time working with then candidate Trump. And you talked about how everyone knew that this money was going to Stormy Daniels' hush money payment. So when did you know about it?
Well, let me talk post-campaign, just as I said, to avoid violating the arbitration proceedings that I'm in. After the campaign, when these things came to light, by that point we were in the White House, and they started to ask us, did you know? Did you know? Certainly the people in the campaign were aware.
Okay, did Ivanka Trump, for example, know? Did Jared Kushner know?
I'm telling you.
Do you believe that they knew?
Oh, I don't doubt that they knew because they were all a part of the cover-up to keep their president, their father from being exposed.
How?
As the person who would go on and cheat on his wife just months after she had a baby, go on and get involved with a porn star as well as a Playboy playmate, and then try to cover up. And more importantly,
wait a second, let me stop you there. What proof do you have of that? Do you have evidence that they were involved in some kind of cover-up?
Well, as I stated, the things in the campaign I can't specifically
I'm not asking about that. I'm just asking about what materials you may or may not have.
Well, there's tons of materials that I'm sure the investigators already have, particularly the emails and the correspondence.
Because you gave it to them? Is that a yes?
not being coy. You know I can't talk about the things from the campaign.
So let me ask you.
So let's not go in
So
circles. Let's have a good interview. But you know, because of the arbitration from his legal team.
Let me ask you about something else though. Here,
Sure.
Michael Cohen and Donald Trump. If you don't want to talk about what you knew or did not know about the hush money during the campaign, well, let me just ask this: why bring it up on Hardball?
Well, first of all, it was brought up in context. So to take it out of context and now say why bring it up, I think it's unfair.
Well, I just think if you're raising or hinting something,
when he asked me a question, I answered it very directly.
So I'll ask a question if you can answer directly. When did you find out about the hush money?